Dark World beats out the odds here with an amazing first place finish. We have some interesting hero techs. And is that Lyrilisk Tri-Brigade back on the circuit? As budget? Yes, it is. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So, we are going to be looking at Dark World to start off here, actually with the Zelamander Catalyster. So you can reveal this card and one Fiend monster in your hand, special summon one of them and discard the other. When a monster is destroyed in battle, involving your Fiend monster, well, this card is in your graveyard, add this to your hand. You can only use each effect of Zelamander Catalyzer once per turn. You know, TCG exclusive being Dark World support actually ends up being really, really good. I heard some really amazing things for this card actually seeing application in play right now, just for what this deck really wants to do. So, gotta leave it to Johnny to smash through with Dark World of all things. So we have triple copies of Brow, 2 copies of good old Cerulean. We have 2 copies of Bigfoot. We have 1 Chupacabra, 1 copy Mothman, triple copies of Nessie. Then we got 1 Ogopogo, 1 Danger Thunderbird, 1 Jackalope with 1 Tsuchinoko. And then we have triple copies of Genta, the searches for good old gates. We have 2 copies of Grapha, Dragon Lord of the Dark World. Then we have 1 copy of Parl. We have 2 copies of Overking of the Dark World, Skittles. We have 2 copies of Silva, and then we have triple copies of Snow, and then we have 1 copy of the Zelamander Catalyzer. Then, of course, best card for Johnny, Allure of Darkness. We have 1 card Destruction, 2 copies of Dark World Ascension, and then we have 1 copy of the Dark World Archives, and triple copies of Gates of the Dark World. Then we have 1 copy of Underworld Goddess, 1 Security Dragon with 1 Saruji. We have 1 copy of News Reporter, 1 Unicorn with 1 Phoenix. We have 1 Masquerena with 1 Apollosa. We have 1 copy of Akashic, 1 Dugaris with 1 Baguski, 1 copy of Dingrisu, 1 Abyss Dweller, and then, of course, 2 copies of Grapha, Dragon Overlord of the Dark World. And then we're siding 1 gold because cleanup aisle 9, 2 Dark World no more, 1 Pure Puppetry, 2 Ripple Droplet, 1 Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twisters, 2 Eevee, and triple copies of Skill Drain. Wrapping up Dark World. Next up is one of our first hero lists. Now, I want to say, for all of these hero variations that I keep coming across here and seeing these ideas and things that players spin across here, I keep hearing the same thing. Dark Law is going to be pretty much the sole reason for this deck, you know, getting the chance to do good. It does matter what cards and things in combination that you do bring to the table for hero, but for the most part here, most of your ratios, most of your interactions and things are going to be very strong because of this card. So kind of decide what you want to do in terms of heroes. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring. We have 1 copy of Crosskeeper with 1 Dark Angel. We have 1 Denier, 2 copies of Malicious. We have 1 Plasma with 1 Honest Neos. We have 1 Liquid Soldier with 2 copies of Shadow Mist. We have 2 copies of Stratos with triple copies of Faris. We also have 1 Increase and 2 copies of Vion. And then you have triple Hero Lives, 1 Called by the Grave with 1 Foolish Bro, triple copies of Fusion Destiny with 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. We have triple copies of Mass Change with 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Polymerization with 1 Rhoda, 2 copies of Talents, and we have triple copies of Infinite Permanence. Then in the next trick, you have 1 Wonder Driver, 1 Dread Decimator, 2 copies of Cross Crusader with your 1 Trinity, and of course 2 Dark Law, of course, best card, right? Walkie-talkie Macrocosmo, you love to see it. We have 1 Blast with 1 Acid, 1 Sunrise with 1 Escuridao, 1 Absolute Zero, 2 Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and 1 Dangerous Friend. Then we have 1 Banshee, triple copies of Droplet with 2 Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Twin Twisters with 1 Zombie World, triple Evenly Matched, and you got triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords here, wrapping up 41 cards. And 41 I don't think is necessarily bad. I know a few people always try to argue ratios and be like, oh my gosh, you know, this is so bad. I think it's fine. See, now next up, you shift to the 41 card variant, but this build's going to have your Ian Shuffle in it. Do not underestimate Ian Shuffle. Ian Shuffle is going to be one of those cards that a lot of people are going to look at and they're going to go, Rob, Ian's a neg 1. I mean, it gets to the best card in your deck yet again. Alright, like, once again, Dark Law set up turn 1 when your opponent doesn't have a damn thing in the world to do anything about it. is going to be the reason why you're going to get the chance to get your free chicken nugget wins. All right, that's Hero in a nutshell. We have one Dark Angel with one Denier. We have 2 copies of Malicious again, 1 Plasma with 1 Honest Neos. We have 1 Liquid Soldier with 2 copies of Shadow Mist. We have 2 Stratos. Interesting to see Stratos getting reduced in terms of numbers, but it's not like you don't have Ian Shuffle. We have triple copies of Ghost Bell in the Haunted Mansion, 2 copies of Skullmeister, triple copies of Faris, and only 1 increase. Oh boy, Brick City. We have 2 copies of Vion wrapping up your monster lineup. Then we have triple copies of A Hero Lives, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, with triple copies of Ian Shuffle. We have triple copies of Fusion Destiny with 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. We have triple copies of Mash Change with 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Poly, and 1 Rhoda. And then we have 1 copy of Wonder Driver, 1 Dread Decimator with 2 copies of Cross Crusader. We have 1 Trinity with 1 Adoration. We have 2 copies of Dark Law, 1 Blast with 1 Anki, so you are going to see some builds rotate between like playing Anki and not playing it. We have 1 Acid, 1 Sunrise, 1 Escuridao, 1 Absolute Zero, and 1 DP. So deck here you got 1 Druis Worm with 2 Magna Huts, so yes, we are still going to be focusing on some sort of good combo pieces. Like, you need these cards. We have triple Lightning Storm with 2 Raigeki, 1 Terraforming with 2 Ripple Zombie World, and triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords here, wrapping up, you guessed it, another interesting take for Hero. And honestly, Dark Law Turbo, baby. Decide the rest of your deck. That's basically what we got going on here. And then we have Leer Lusk. Now, this was actually really cool from when you guys check out the profile down below. This was mentioned that this was completely budget. And looking at this, it is very much so. It is kind of nice to see, the Tenki came back here. Your bird stuff is pennies on the dollar. I mean, your most expensive cards are going to be Talents and Lightning Storms at, what, $10 a copy? If that. If you really can't afford that, I mean, you can sub out Lightning Storms for, say what, like Raigekis if you really need to. You have option trees, and that's what's really important about this. So we have 2 copies of DD Crow, 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Then we have 1 Barrel Canary with 1 Celestine Wagtail, 2 copies of the Cobalt Sparrow with 2 copies of Sapphire Swallow. We have triple copies of the Turquoise Wobbler. We have 1 Fabled Cerebral, that's interesting. We have triple copies of Fractal, 2 Karis with 1 Kit, and then we have triple Nerval. We have 1 Call by the Grave, your triple Tenki, 1 Foolish Bro, triple copies of Bird Call with 1 1-for-1, triple Talents, 1 Upstart, triple Imperm, and 1 copy of Revolt. If you've noticed, like 95% of these decks still only focus on the 1 Revolt. Like, even though Revolt is a sick, amazing card, there just isn't much of a reason to like try to play 2 or 3 of it anymore. 1 is fine. We have 2 copies of Shirog, 1 Frigette with 1 copy of Bearbrim. We have 1 Harvest Ginger, 1 Appo with 1 Double Dragon Lords, 1 Axis Machine with 1 Utopia Future and 1 Draco, 2 copies of Recital Starling, 1 Assembled Blue, 1 copy of Zeus, and then 1 Herald. Inside deck here, you got 1 old Alpha, triple copies of Droll, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, triple Lightning Storm, triple Dimensional Barrier, and 2 copies of Harpy's Featherstorm here. Honestly, wrapping up one of the more interesting budget-friendly decks, and it is kind of nice to have some budget-friendly Yu-Gi-Oh! Doing well. And last list here is Crystal Beast. Hey! I will say, the Lost of Mystic Mine, I was worried that this deck was going to fall off the face of the earth, but you know what? It's actually still alive. You just focus on, this good card now. This is going to be, like, still your go-to. You kind of lose a field spell along the way, but, like, Conclave Control is just going to, handle everything that you ever wanted it to in your life. So we have 1 copy of Druisworm, 2 copies of Magna Hut. We have 1 Cobalt Eagle with triple copies of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. We have 1 copy of Good Old Carbuncle with triple Sapphire Pegasus. We have triple Dimension Shifter with 1 Rainbow Dragon. We have triple copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, 2 copies of Crystal Bomb, 2 Foolish Burial Goods with 1 Necro Valley, triple Pot of Prosperity with triple Rainbow Bridge. We have triple copies of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, and then we have Secret Village, Scam Your Opponent. We have triple copies of Crystal Conclave, 2 Miracle with 1 Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Down the extra deck, you got 1 copy of Win, 1 Elf with 1 Lena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn with 1 Phoenix, 1 IP with 1 Barricade Borg Blocker, 1 Axis Machine, and we have 1 Shockeye, 1 Borbo, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Dugaris, 1 Baguski, 1 Zeus, and 1 Abyssaler. Side deck here, you got triple Spooky Dogwood, triple copies of Lava Golem, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Lightning Storm, 1 Zombie World, triple dimensional barrier, and 1 copy of Evenly Matched here, wrapping up your chunk of interesting goodies out of today. So what do you think about all of these interesting lists? A lot of good stuff really moving along here. So please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.